What's up YouTube? Today we're gonna take a look at this hybrid control movement deck that gained a lot of popularity recently. This deck was built by Freddybabes, who hit infinite rank with this pretty quickly early on in the season. I'll leave a link to his channels if you're interested in checking out more of his content. And it is a pretty unique and refreshing list that also has a lot of good tech choices against the current meta. It makes sense that this performed well for Freddy. It makes sense that a lot of other creators have covered this deck recently. And I also wanted to try it out and give it a verdict. And yeah, my verdict is that the deck is pretty good. It does take some time to get used to it though. So let's start off with explaining the core pieces in the deck. As reactive control tools and meta counters, we mostly have Killmonger, who really farms all of the Thanos decks currently running around, also destroys sunspots and the likes. Shang-Chi is very good for all the Lockjaw decks, all the Shuri decks that are currently going around, all the ramp decks. And we have Cosmo blocking off all kinds of on-reveal effects, also great in the current meta. At the same time, we can manipulate the position of our opponent's cards with Polaris as well as Arrow. Arrow is amazing in the current meta, great in the Shuri matchup, also very good in the Modok matchups, where you can often pull cards out behind Invisible Woman. And the idea of the rest of the deck is kind of to just play good cards and good card combos that have very high power values to have initiative on the last couple of turns. So some of those interactions are Colleen Wing and Swarm. It's basically 2 energy to spread 10 power across all 3 locations. We also have Iron Fist kicking Vulture over, another 4 power, 10 mana combo. We have all of these movement effects potentially discounting Miles Morales to a 1 energy and 5 power unit. Lizard and Maximus are also in here. Lizard can often be played on curve, Maximus often on the final turn or hidden behind Cosmo to not give your opponent that draw value. So the toughest part about playing this deck is realizing when you want initiative and when you do not want to be the first one to reveal the cards. In many matchups we just want to get ahead in 2 locations within the first 5 turns of the game and then play Arrow on turn 6 into the losing location, moving all of our opponent's cards out of the way, and we will still be ahead on the other 2 locations. And some other matchups where we want to keep priority is, for example, if we're relying on Cosmo to hit something important. Against Silver Surfer, against Hela or discard decks, or just playing this into the Lockjaw location can really devastate your opponent. On the other hand, if we are relying on something like Shang-Chi, we will sometimes not want priority, so our opponent plays cards into Shang-Chi first. Same can be said for Killmonger. If we're expecting our opponent to play a bunch of 1-drops on the last turn, or we want to surprise them by removing everything and winning a game with a higher cube count, we will often not want priority on the last turn, but rather get a come from behind victory. Another cool thing about this deck is that it is full Series 3, all pool 3 cards, so it's very accessible. On the flip side, that means that the deck is probably going to lose some of its surprise value over the next week or so, because more and more people will play it and everyone will understand the play patterns of this deck and what cards are in this deck. So I feel like this deck is not going to be an absolute meta breaker or meta king, but it is a solid choice with a lot of outplay potential and a fresh and fun playstyle. It was also quite successful for me. I had a bit of a rough start dropping some ranks, but then I went from 91 to 95 in like 2 hours of gameplay, which is a pretty good pace. So I can recommend this for climbing. And if you need some inspiration on how this deck can be played and if you want to learn something, here are a bunch of gameplay examples. But right now it's also fairly hard to make any cut to this deck. Would probably have to be Lizard, but Lizard is also kind of a good card. Could be patient with Colleen. I think I like playing her for tempo though. Titania opener. It's wild. Instantly punished. Okay, so we're Cosmo into Maximus middle. Then it gets rough. I'm gonna have to try to snipe stuff out with Arrow. Captain Marvel has become one of my favorite cards lately. She's super fun and super satisfying. Also not that great on tempo, and the saddest thing is she's just kind of bugged. We gotta try to be ahead in 2 lanes here. We can only tie left, so that doesn't make sense. So we have to try right side. And hope our opponent plays left for some weird reason. Oh, okay, this is She-Hulk Taskmaster.
All systems go.
Which means arrow left should just win it here. Do I snap? I could go for a late snap here. Because if my opponent doesn't have a decent-ish combo, they leave anyway. If they have She-Hulk Taskmaster, they'll be tempted to stay. But they're not really winning with She-Hulk Taskmaster. Nah, I think I can't snap here. I'd probably make them run away. I think we have to settle for 1 extra cube here. I've seen people posting this deck lately, but if you're what the game plan is, if you don't draw both cards of Iron Fist Vulture combo and Colleen's Swarm combo. I mean, those are just sub-combos. It's mostly a out-control your opponent game plan. Haha! Priority was super important here. It was actually well played by our opponent.
Victory.
But in arrow versus arrow battles, priority kind of just wins. You play Iron Fist on turn 1. It really depends. Not if you have Colleen into Swarm and not if you have Lizard on 2. But if you have Iron Fist on 1 and then the next card you would play is Vulture, then yes, you can play him on 1. Also, Beppo, thank you. Thanks for the kind words. Okay, this is a pretty good start. There's no reason to snap on turn 1 since we're not revealing any information to our opponent. This is also a good reason to snap in a bit. But now we have to wait till turn 3 and then play Colleen and Iron Fist the same turn. Or we could Iron Fist now, Colleen next turn. That's probably a bit better. That already activates the miles discount. I've played against this player a lot. They're a fully stacked account. So they have access to a wide variety of decks. I think they were playing a lot of Thanos recently, but now I don't know what they're playing, so I'll be a bit more cautious. Okay. Should be a fine matchup overall. We have Polaris middle. It's probably the best use we'll ever get out of her. And next turn then we have Colleen and Miles. Aww. Okay, so it's probably a Shuri deck. I feel like we're gonna run into this person a couple more times today. New Mogwai and TLSG are posting videos about this move discard hybrid deck. Did I miss something? Well, it got popularized recently by Freddybabes, a fellow streamer and content creator, who had a pretty good run to Infinite with it. And I think, well, first of all, it's a fresh concept. It's kind of a new brew that hasn't been around before. Second of all, everyone loves movement. Third of all, I think everyone wants to test whether or not this deck is actually solid, or if it was just like a good player on a good run. Ooh, this is scuffed. I don't really have a play here. I guess Killmonger doesn't really have targets besides Zero. Might as well. And I would kind of like to draw, but it's really hard to contest this. What I can do is Killmonger middle and then maybe later pull out Ebony Maw with... God damn it. And that gives me a Maximus, but... probably losing middle. Okay. 2 cards left in hand. We have the Gigolo play. They also didn't have Shuri on curve, so there's a good chance we're winning this. But we are behind, like we gotta catch up on quite a bit of power. Like Shang-Chi can be good, it can also backfire. Let's try this. For the golden deck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a whale account. But they were also a pretty good player so far. Like the last couple of days when I faced them. Okay, we're hoping to move over to right side. Shite. Could work. I'm not super confident. There's a good chance we lose this, but as long as our opponent doesn't snap back, we have the odds to stay in this. No scoped. Yo, Pepsi! How's everything going? Okay, please give me at least 200 tokens. Yes! And in comes Thanos. Gimme, gimme. Sometimes you just need to ask the universe and you shall receive. It's pretty amazing. Okay, again, if we have Iron Fist and Colleen in hand, I think we want to play Iron Fist. Not sure if we're playing Colleen on 2, but like just in case we draw Vulture or Swarm. Probably gonna have to give up left. Unless this is Ebony Maw, then we can still Killmonger it. Okay, 8 power lizard is really strong. Ooh, Killmonger is gonna be very good here. So we're playing for middle and right side, and then last turn we're gonna have to try to arrow something into the left. Does that make sense? I think I can Killmonger now, like our opponent doesn't play more 1-drops. The only issue is, then Polaris is kind of useless in this matchup in this game. Okay, no surprise there. Isn't it? Like my opponent is not gonna play left. This means we still have priority. And this means we should Shang-Chi whatever big card they play. Pretty sure this is it. They're probably going Red Skull middle. Really? Okay. So it's definitely Taskmaster. In that case, we can just arrow left. I mean, Shang-Chi left also wins. I'm a bit scared of Zola here. Because Zola hitting lizards actually does not win the middle. Arrow better? I don't think Arrow is better. Arrow beats Taskmaster. Shang-Chi beats Taskmaster and Arnim Zola. Arrow beats Mary plus Lizard, I guess. Taskmaster Titania. It's close between the two. I honestly don't know which one's better. I like Shang-Chi a bit more. Nice! Victory. What's up, Guillermo? 92. I thought for a second I only heard the sound effect first. I thought this was Ego. They have similar sound effects. Well, that's bad. Now we can't reach this anymore. Otherwise we could have with Iron Fist. We can reach it on turn 6, I suppose. Means we also need to win the left side. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be awkward. Shite. I don't know about this. Like, how do we win this? Can't even Shang-Chi this. Well, if it's Jubilee, it's not Galactus. It's just some big stuff deck. So I could play Cosmo, try to predict. Yeah, no, I have to keep this open for Shang-Chi though. Guess it's just Arrow. I could play Arrow middle, that's actually interesting. Isn't this just a gangster play? And then last turn we kind of have to no-scope. Because I want to give up priority and my only chance of winning is Shang-Chi, right? On last turn, I think. Let's try this. Oh wait, we're just straight up winning now, aren't we? They do have 7 mana, but like, what kind of place do they really have that cover all 3 locations? I think we just win this. Sick! Oh, that felt so satisfying. Victory. Oh, that was good. They played Jubilee and Galactus? What the hell is this wilderness? Okay, this could be good for us if we can empty our hand quickly. I think we play Swarm here. We would not be mad anymore at Colleen discarding a card, because that means our opponent will not get it. Oh, we can be very annoying with Polaris middle later on. Like, Polaris now is tempting to play Miles next turn on curve. Might be a bit better, to be honest. Just because we want to empty our hand, right? So now it's probably like Maximus middle, Miles right. Ooh. I really like Maximus on turn 4 or 5 because that means we get more cards from Mindscape. Oh! So if we arrow right side, they can still make Angela huge. Can arrow into Angela, but they probably just play here. No, it has to be arrow though, because... Yeah, no, arrow is really good here, for sure. Exactly because of this reason. It means I have to play into Barsonis around the last turn. It's a lot of really nice cards you have here. Yeah, they've got some really nice variants, that's true. They have the superior skins. They're not really gonna stay in this, are they? Wait, I might have messed up. If they'd played Chavez, they can Chavez mid and move Vision to the right, and that actually beats me. I was probably supposed to play 0 on the right side, not on the left. No, never mind, we pulled Chavez. It's actually not true what I said. I did not know this worked that way. Fuck, I gave him the nuts. Well, GG's. Gotta give it to them. Deserve those 4 cubes. Could I have done anything against this? I could have played the last turn differently, but then I would have given them arrow, but we have priority. Like, I didn't know we would get an arrow from them. That's the issue. Bar always dupe buff stats. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's more about... It's a bit unintuitive that the card is already gone. Like, it receives the buff when the card is gone, right? Like, Vulture in middle is a 3-3. It only turns into a 3-8 when it's on the left. And that it then gets copied 4 times. And not just 3. And with the buff. I genuinely didn't know that would happen, but... I guess it can make sense. Okay. In this case, I think we can refrain from playing Iron Fist for now. Like, we could go 1-2 Miles into Colleen for on 3. But if we don't find Swarm by then, it's a bit scuffed. I think we wait here. Nice. I recently unlocked 0. Is there any other card that goes with 0 other than Red Skull, Maximus, or Ebony Moore? Well, Lizard, Titania, Typhoid Mary are the obvious beneficial ones. I think we have to discard Cosmo here. Also, I think we really want Colleen middle. Like, we could make use of Kunlun, play this. We could also go with this to have more power on Asgard. You know what? Screw it. We'll win Asgard. It's fine. Okay, what now? I think we just do this. Like, Lizard into Storm usually looks like something like Sarah Surfer, which means they're probably following up with either Brute or Juggernaut on the left. The Killmonger would have, of course, been nice to pick off the Sunspot. So we would need to win both of the other locations. This makes it less likely our opponent can get our Lizard debuffed. Oh, god damn it. Oh, Arrow middle would have been so good. Also, who plays Spider-Man in the Sarah deck? Wait, this pulls Sunspot. If they don't have Surfer, we win this. Fantastic also beats us. The question is just, is this a Surfer deck or not? Sunspot and Spider-Man are uncommon in Surfer decks. Lizard is also not a must. Oh, I feel like we're losing this, but I really want to see this one play out. No snap back, so we kind of have the odds to stay in this. I think we can try it. Seems like a control deck. Yeah, it might have just not been... It might not be Surfer. They should probably still play Doom or Ultron, though, for the hot location. But I'm too tempted to try this. Gimme, gimme, gimme! Ah! We're cruising. Perfectly calculated victory right here. Right, it's always on Sunday night, like Sunday or evening in the US, right? I'm more excited for the UFC event, I'll be honest. For the super fight between Volkanovski and Makhachev. No spoilers, please. I think it was last night, right? Oh. Polaris is gonna be good. It's today. Okay, then it's because of it's in Australia, right? Could have Killmongered mid to open space for the copy of Cosmo. That's actually, yeah, very smart, very astute. It's also one more power. Yeah, it probably would have been a better play. Okay, now this is awkward. I kind of want to keep Polaris for later. But she's the only play on curve that makes sense. What are you doing? A good night, Denari. Thanks for swinging by. Oh, this is good. I should probably snap this, right? Like, we can still draw Cosmo from middle, we can still arrow their stuff out of Invisible Woman.
I still believe in heroes.
You what? Also, hello? That is one of the cooler variants that I've seen so far. They kind of want their opponent to have priority, but there's no real way of doing it. We could also just try to get priority left and middle, and then last turn we arrow right side. Like, we go for an Iron Fist. No, we for sure do that. Last turn is an Iron Fist arrow round. Was the free one everyone got? This one? Are you serious? I don't have it. The signed Samuel L. Jackson one was the free one. Or maybe it was like early beta when I didn't play yet. This has to be the coolest play ever. Okay, now I'm scared and confused. They didn't even try to play hella mid. Like, we would have gotten them anyway, right? But they didn't even try. Chad, maybe you were right about the drunk people and Super Bowl and everything.